What if one of the very first foods your doctor, with the best intentions, told you to avoid could be your secret weapon in the fight for stable blood sugar? For decades, anyone with prediabetes or diabetes diagnosis has been handed a very specific rulebook, and right there on the first page, in big, bold letters, it often says, "Beware of high-fat foods." We've been taught to fear them, to count every gram, to see them as a forbidden indulgence, a one-way ticket to worsening health and a higher number on the scale. But what if that rule book was not just incomplete, but fundamentally wrong? What if a food once blacklisted because of its fat and calorie content was not only safe, but was in fact powerfully medicinal? So much so that it could help lower your blood sugar, reduce your inflammation, quiet your cravings, and even help turn a prediabetes diagnosis completely around. It sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it? Like another empty promise in a world full of health fads. However, a massive wave of new, rigorous scientific evidence from the world's most respected institutions is overturning that old, tired advice completely. So what if I told you that one of the first foods your doctor warned you about could actually help lower your post-meal blood sugar spike significantly in the hours after you eat? It sounds a little crazy, I know. It flies in the face of everything we were told. But compelling new research, including landmark findings from institutions like Harvard, has revealed that a small handful of this once forbidden food is in fact a powerful blood sugar superfood. This isn't just about avoiding a spike, it's about fundamentally changing your metabolic health for the better. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what this food is, how much to eat, and how to use it to take back control of your glucose levels starting today. Stick with me because this information could fundamentally change the way you look at your plate and your future with blood sugar management. Section 1. The problem and the myth. Let's be brutally honest. Managing blood sugar is a full-time, unpaid, and often thankless job. It can be absolutely exhausting. You're constantly walking a tightrope. Eat a few too many carbs at a family dinner, and you see that dreaded spike on your meter. Don't eat enough, and you might feel shaky, weak, and unable to focus at work. You scrutinize every label, turning grocery shopping into a forensic investigation. You second-guess every meal, living by the numbers on your glucose meter, a device that can feel more like a judge than a tool. And at the heart of all this confusion has been the decades-long war on fat. For a generation, we were told that low fat was the gold standard for health. This message was amplified by a food industry that happily sold us low-fat yogurts, crackers, and cookies, often packed with refined flours and sugars that were far worse for our metabolic health. For anyone with diabetes or heart concerns, high-fat foods were painted as the public enemy number one. And right there on the do not eat list, alongside trans fats and fried foods, were nuts. Why? The logic seemed simple. They're high in fat and high in calories. The conventional wisdom said that their energy density would surely lead to weight gain, a major risk factor for type 2 diabetes. This created a persistent myth, a genuine fear that a simple handful of almonds or walnuts could sabotage all your hard work and discipline. We were told to snack on rice cakes and low-fat crackers instead. But as many of us have discovered the hard way, those high-carb, low-fat snacks often send us on a blood sugar roller coaster, causing a sharp spike and a subsequent crash that leaves us hungry, tired, and just plain frustrated. The advice was well-intentioned, but as we now know from overwhelming evidence, deeply flawed. It ignored the type of fat and the incredible package of fiber, protein, vitamins, and minerals that comes with it. This old way of thinking created a world where people were actively and tragically avoiding a food that science is now proving to be one of the most powerful and accessible tools for glycemic control. Section 2. The Discovery, the Scientific Turning Point. The tide began to turn when researchers started looking beyond just calories and fat grams. They began to ask a more nuanced, more important question. what actually happens inside your body at a cellular level when you eat these foods. And the results, gathered over decades and across hundreds of thousands of people, have been nothing short of revolutionary. A wave of research, including landmark studies from Harvard, began to paint a very different picture. One landmark study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association was staggering in its scale. It followed over 83,000 women for 16 years and found that those who ate a handful of nuts or a tablespoon of peanut butter 5 or more times a week had a significantly lower risk, over 20% lower, of developing type 2 diabetes compared to those who rarely ate them. Another Harvard study zeroed in on walnuts, finding that eating just 2 or more servings a week was associated with a lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. This wasn't a fluke. Study after study began to confirm it. Researchers discovered that far from being a problem, the unique combination of nutrients in nuts is a powerful trifecta for blood sugar management. That forbidden fat is predominantly healthy monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fat, the kind that improves insulin sensitivity and supports cardiovascular health. And it doesn't work alone. It's packaged with a hefty dose of fiber and high-quality plant-based protein. Here's the mechanism, and it's beautifully simple. When you eat a carbohydrate, your body breaks it down into glucose, which enters your bloodstream. If the carb is simple, like in white bread or a sugary drink, it's like opening a fire hydrant, a massive, rapid surge of glucose. But when you eat nuts, the fat, fiber, and protein act like a sophisticated dam, a powerful braking system. They slow down digestion and the absorption of glucose into the bloodstream. This means your blood sugar rises more slowly, gently, and stays much more stable. One study even showed that simply adding almonds to high glycemic foods like white bread significantly blunted the post-meal blood sugar response. It's not about eliminating carbs, it's about controlling how your body processes them. Section 3. The solution, a handful of power. So what is this forbidden superfood? It's not one single exotic fruit or an expensive, hard-to-find supplement. It is, quite simply, nuts. Raw, unsalted nuts are metabolic powerhouses. Their satisfying crunch and versatility make them an easy addition to any lifestyle. And while most nuts offer benefits, research consistently points to a few all-stars in the world of blood sugar control: almonds, walnuts, and pistachios. Let's break down exactly what they do and how to use them. The key is consistency and dosage. A handful, which is about 1 ounce or 28 grams, is all it takes. This small, simple addition to your day can have truly profound effects. Almonds, the prediabetes reversal star. Almonds are consistently praised, and for very good reason. They're fantastic for helping to control glucose levels, partly because they're a great source of magnesium, a mineral that plays a vital role in over 300 bodily processes, including regulating blood sugar and insulin function. But here's where it gets really exciting. A groundbreaking study conducted in India in 2023 focused on people with prediabetes. They had them eat just 20 grams of almonds, that's a small handful, 30 minutes before breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The short-term results showed a significant reduction in the post-meal blood sugar spike. But they didn't stop there. In a longer 3-month study, this simple habit led to something that researchers called the holy grail of medicine. Nearly a quarter of 23.3% of the participants with prediabetes were able to reverse their condition and achieve normal blood sugar levels. Let that sink in. This wasn't just about better management, it was about reversal. The study also found that this habit led to significant reductions in body weight, BMI, and waist circumference. That's a true change gamer.
2. Walnuts, the anti-inflammatory shield. Walnuts have a unique superpower that sets them apart from other nuts. They're one of the only nuts that contain a significant amount of alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. This is a huge deal because we now know that chronic, low-grade inflammation is a key driver of insulin resistance, the condition where your cells stop responding properly to insulin. The ALA in walnuts acts as a powerful anti-inflammatory agent, helping to cool down this internal fire and improve how your cells listen to insulin signals. Beyond that, we have the Harvard research linking regular walnut consumption to a lower long-term risk of developing diabetes. More recent Harvard research went even deeper, using advanced machine learning to identify 19 specific metabolites created in the body after eating walnuts. Having these metabolites was linked to a 17% lower risk of type 2 diabetes and an incredible 29% lower risk of cardiovascular disease. Walnuts are also rich in fiber and protein, which help you feel full and satisfied. This satiety is your best defense against reaching for those unhealthy, high-carb snacks between meals that can wreak havoc on your blood sugar. 3. Pistachios, the glycemic control champion. Don't sleep on pistachios. They have emerged as a true champion, particularly for those with prediabetes. A major clinical trial called the Epiderm study, published in the prestigious journal Diabetes Care, found that for people with prediabetes, a diet that included about 2 ounces of pistachios a day helped to decrease fasting glucose and insulin levels. It also improved other crucial metabolic markers, like reducing levels of fibrinogen and oxidized LDL, which are involved in blood clotting and plaque formation in your arteries. Other studies have highlighted another of the pistachio's incredible talents, its ability to buffer high-carb meals. Research has shown that adding pistachios to a meal with rice, pasta, or bread significantly lowers the blood sugar response after that meal. In fact, the effect was dose-dependent. The more pistachios you eat, the lower the blood sugar spike. This makes them an incredible strategic tool. If you know you're about to have a celebration meal with more carbs than usual, eating a small handful of pistachios beforehand can act as a protective buffer, shielding your body from a massive glucose surge and the damage it can cause. Section 4. Your action plan and addressing concerns. So how do you put this powerful science into practice? It's simpler and more delicious than you think. The dose. Aim for 1 to 2 servings of nuts per day. A single serving is about 1 ounce or 28 grams, which looks like a small handful. That's roughly 23 almonds, 14 walnut halves, or about 49 pistachios. The timing. For the biggest impact on blunting those post-meal spikes, the evidence points to eating your handful of nuts about 30 minutes before your main meals. This preloading strategy gives the fiber, fat, and protein time to get to work, slowing down digestion. They also make an excellent stabilizing snack between meals to prevent those afternoon energy crashes and kill cravings for sugar and refined carbs. The type is crucial. Always choose raw or dry roasted, unsalted nuts. The salted, honey roasted, or candied kinds can completely work against you. Excess sodium is bad for blood pressure, a major concern for anyone with metabolic issues, and the added sugars will create the very blood sugar spike you're trying to prevent. Read the label. The only ingredient should be the nuts themselves. Now let's tackle the big elephant in the room one last time. But what about the calories and fat? Won't I gain weight? This is the ghost of that old, flawed advice talking. But study after study has shown that incorporating nuts into a diet does not typically lead to weight gain. In fact, the opposite often happens. Why? For 2 main reasons. First, as we've discussed, they're incredibly satiating. They keep you feeling full and satisfied for longer, which naturally helps you eat less of other, less healthy foods throughout the day. Second, and this is fascinating, your body doesn't absorb all the calories from nuts. The rigid cellular structure of nuts means some of the fat passes through your system undigested, so the number on the label isn't the same as the number your body actually uses. It's clear that these humble foods are not the enemy. They are a powerful, delicious, science-backed ally. And if you're finding this information empowering and want more actionable, evidence-based strategies to take control of your health, this is your invitation to join our community. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss what's next. We're building a community here dedicated to cutting through the noise, debunking the myths, and getting real science-backed answers. And our greatest resource is each other. If you have a question or a success story about adding nuts to your diet, share it in the comments below. Let's start a conversation. What's your go-to healthy snack? Reading about each other's journeys is one of the most powerful motivators we have. So let's officially take that old broken rulebook and toss it in the recycling bin. The misguided fear of fat has led us astray, causing millions of us to miss out on one of nature's most perfect foods for blood sugar control. The science is now undeniable. A simple handful of nuts, be it almonds, walnuts, or pistachios, is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced as powerful medicine. By slowing down sugar absorption, improving how your body uses insulin, fighting inflammation, and keeping you full and satisfied, they provide a multi-pronged defense against high blood sugar. They empower you with a tool that could potentially turn a prediabetes diagnosis around and allow you to manage diabetes with more confidence and less stress. This isn't about restrictive, miserable diets. It's about smart, delicious, and empowering additions. It's about using food as the powerful medicine it was always meant to be. So go ahead, have that handful of nuts. Your body, your cells, and your blood sugar meter will thank you for it. For those who are ready to take an even deeper dive, I've compiled a free guide on the top 5 blood sugar stabilizing foods that goes beyond just nuts. It's packed with more tips and science to help you on your journey. You can download it for free at the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.